What's up, fans and friends? This is Film Fights with Friends podcast with Stephen Kepfer
and Paul Veracci.
Yo, dude, this episode, holy cow!
I'm already excited.
I know we just finished the interview, and I'm so excited I want to hear it already back.
Yeah, that's it. I feel like that hasn't happened very often.
No.
But I really did have such a good time. I think we had so much fun, and the amount of information that that was bestowed upon us for this episode of Shogun was pretty insane, and just makes you even appreciate more what into the entire series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to be talking about two productions. We're talking about Shogun season 1, a little bit of season 2, and we're talking about Protectors of the Land. So Lauro David Chartrand-Del Valle and Charlene Royer are both on the show today. Lauro is the second unit director and stunt coordinator for Shogun, and Charlene is the assistant stunt coordinator, and for Shogun, that is. And then she was an EP on Protectors of the Land, and Protectors of the Land was written, produced, and directed by Lauro.
By Lauro, yeah.
Yeah, and that's currently on Tubi. It was just released, so by the time you hear this this episode, it'll be out. Have been out for maybe like 2 months or so, but couldn't have two productions further apart in budget, in cultural relevance.
Oh, absolutely.
In the stylization of the types of fights, and both kick butt. I would say, yeah. It's really good. I think you guys are going to really dig this interview. We got some great B-roll to drop in if you're watching us on YouTube. We got some of the previses for the Shogun fights. So this is gonna be a great episode. What have you been up to, Paul?
I've actually been kind of busy lately. I had a small little picture car gig. You know, I threw my car in for some picture car work. It's been a little slow. We had a friend, I'm not gonna blow anybody's name out of the water, help us out with that.
Yeah. But then you got a real job.
And then while I was on the picture car work, I got a phone call or I got a text, and I worked for Stephen Pope, and I did some driving work, which was great.
So you got a driving job while you were on a picture car job.
Yeah, it was kind of neat, but I didn't know I was going to be driving until the day.
Yeah.
And you know,
funny how that happens.
I'm always, always nervous. I was nervous. Don't get me wrong. Like I was sitting there, and I was then like, all right, I'm just going to sit in the passenger seat if I can. I'm not gonna drive. Whatever.
Wrong.
And then of course the PA comes up and he looks at the other guy. He goes, "Yep." He goes, "You're definitely the passenger seat." I was like, "All right, fuck it. I guess I'm driving."
There you go.
So it was cool. We did some grid driving. We did some lane changing. I had the camera car following me from behind, left, right, and the arm was over the car. I had to maintain speed. It was really cool.
The Russian arm. Oh, well, now they call it the Ukraine.
The Ukraine arm. But it was very, very simple, but I loved every second of it.
It was your first driving gig, right?
It was my first
awesome.
True driving gig. So yeah, I had a blast, and it was really cool. It's funny, when you're on set and you say rolling and then action, but when you're actually driving, you're actually fucking rolling.
Oh, there you go.
So I was kind of laughing when everyone said rolling. I'm giggling to myself. And then, when they call action and all the cars start to move, it's really great. And it's so precise. Mm-hmm. I love it.
Driving a grid, it is legit like the fighter pilots who keep a formation and fly together.
I'm just a huge fan. I was nervous my first run. And then in my head, I was like, oh, this is like driving in New York, but someone's going to tell you exactly where the traffic's going to be.
Yeah, I was going to say,
it's easy.
Like when I did that that near miss on Bad Bunny and Caught Stealing, I was like, oh well. At first, I was nervous because I'm not a big time stunt driver,
right?
But then I was like, well, I almost hit somebody every day driving around the city. You know what I mean? So it's like if you drive in New York, it's good training.
And what have you been up to there, fucking Rodney Dangerfield? Getting back to school.
Yeah, I'm back in school, man. I'm back in school. You know me.
Yeah,
just learning. So I think we mentioned it in the past, but I enrolled in the University of California, San Diego. They have a event safety program, certificate program. It's like postgraduate continuing education stuff, but it's all about entertainment event safety. So I've been spending the last several weeks talking about hazard and risk assessments and all that kind of cool stuff. So you can continue to call me Safety Steve. Well, by the time this episode drops, I will have finished my first class, but at the time we're recording this, I have my finals next week. So I am feeling pressured right now.
You'll be fine, dude. You're a fucking nerd.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, I know, because you call me and you tell me everything you're learning.
I do.
I feel like I'm learning it too.
You're getting education by
great.
proxy.
It's great. I truly love like the trickle down effect of Steve's knowledge in this class.
There you go.
He's like, hey, we're learning this. I'm gonna send you an email. I was like,
so can you pay half my tuition?
I probably should.
Anyway, shout out to University of California, San Diego for their events safety program. It's excellent so far.
Dude, and speaking of shout outs, we have a new shout out to jump back on board. I'm so excited about Stunt Contact.
Oh, yes. We have a sponsor has returned to us.
They have returned. They've come back to the fold. Welcome.
We love Stunt Contact.
We do.
We love talking about Stunt Contact.
And just because you weren't sponsoring us doesn't mean I wasn't using you the entire time.
Yes, I know. Every time we saw a cool thing, we were like, oh, well. But we're glad to have you back, Stunt Contact. You're awesome. For those listening, it is probably the best, at least for stunts, but probably you should subscribe if you're not a stunt performer too. Breakdown service, everything that's going on.
Who, when, what, where, and why.
Even stuff I don't care about. Like lately, I've been getting flooded with emails about productions in Australia. Like, I am not in Australia, but that's how deep their connections are. So I would say definitely check out Stunt Contact. And they also sponsor some great activities. They sponsor the like an education series for stunt performers and stuff like that. So great people, great service, worth the subscription. You can get a weekly or a daily email, depending on what your subscription level is. But if you want to know what's going on, what's in pre-production, what's in post-production, what's in production, what's in the development phase, Stunt Contact.
And don't restrict yourself and say, hey, this doesn't apply to me because I only work in this. If you are just interested or curious, subscribe.
You know how many people, like, for example, like
learn how the business works.
People who want to hustle sets or who want to do PA work or other things, and they want to know what's going on where. Like, this is a perfect service.
It's a great stepping stone to figure out when and where and who to meet.
Yeah, 100%. I will also say, Paul, that it's been a little bit since we gave shout outs to commenters, reviewers. Yes, I know. But we've got...
Dude, I have a question. I'm just going to say it because I don't even know. I haven't even read it, but we can talk about Frankie today. We can talk about Frankie Bay. Is he on our fucking list? I haven't even read it.
Yo, Frankie, you're not on the list today, but I will actually just say that you were just posting on one of our things like 2 days ago. Like, I didn't even have you on the list, but Frankie, we love you.
We appreciate you, man.
Probably our most engaged listener.
You're the man, dude.
Goes to Frankie Bay. Everybody else out there, if you want shout outs, like, this is probably like the 4th episode we've shouted Frankie out. If you want shout outs like we give to Frankie, you just need to engage more. That's pretty much it. But we did get this amazing review, and I will read it to you.
Is this the funny one?
Well, it could be funny.
I think it's funny.
Yeah. I have 2 reviews to read. This one was on Spotify. In a comment. You can't review us on Spotify, but you can leave comments. So this one was, this podcast is terrible, ! This
is the one I like.
And then for sleeping anyway, my favorite time to listen to podcasts is when I'm falling asleep and I had to switch over to something else because Paul and Steve kept making me laugh. And it's way, in capitals, too informative to let my mind wander off. The worst podcast.
What a great
5
review.
of 5 stars.
I love it.
Keep listening. Thank you, Francesca. We love you. And then this one, oh my God, I'm going to have to look up his name, but let me read the insight because I forgot to write it down on my notes. But here's his review. He is a stunt performer here in New York.
Ooh.
I don't know him personally. On-set experience is usually the best teacher, but second best is hearing great stories and industry know-how from working professionals. I'm always trying to learn more to improve my own stunt work, and Film Fights with Friends is chock full of great insight, both of the hosts and their guests. even if you're not a stunt performer, this podcast will teach you a lot about the film industry.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And because I'm embarrassed, I did not do my due diligence regarding the note taking, but I exactly know who you are because we messaged on Instagram. I wrote to him. I said, "Yo, dude, is this you?" And it was him. And I'm going to tell you right now. But Paul, maybe you could keep talking while I'm looking. How about you tell about us?
Oh my God! And our other greatest sponsor is us, Breakfall Studios.
We sponsor ourselves.
We sponsor ourselves. That sounds kind of dirty, but we do. So if you are ever interested in training, stunt training in general, training an actor coming here, you need space to rent out and you want to train your actors, come to Breakfall Studios. This is literally what we do here.
That's right. And if your name happens to be John Francis McCullough, who wrote an awesome review for us, you can come rent this place too. He might even give you a discount because you gave us an awesome review. But yeah, John, thank you for the review. Yes, you can see behind us our studio. If you need to use it, rent it for auditions, previs, training, workshops, you name it.
All the things. And if you haven't yet, please don't forget to support us on Patreon.
Yes.
And join our mailing. We want people to join our mailing list.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to start sending out mailing lists, emails, all of the fun things that, we are going to be doing. And
oh my God, look, we do have Frankie Bay on the notes. Ha! Holy shit. Frankie, fuck you, Frankie.
See, Frankie, you made it to the show anyway.
Just on the part where it says, here's our notes. Prompt folks to like and follow us, comment, give reviews, etc. And then there's a note.
Shout out to Frankie Bay
on YouTube for commenting on the new episode as soon as it drops. Like literally, dude, on the this was the Andor episode.
Oh, okay.
It literally had been out for
long enough for it to be watched.
Like an hour and a half. And there was already a note from Frankie.
That's
talking
great.
About how awesome it is. Frankie, we love you, man.
Yeah, that makes us just so excited to put the show out, stuff like that.
But at this point, I think we should just get on to the interview with Lauro and Charlene.
Oh, I can't wait.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
Man, Paul, I am so excited to have Charlene and Lauro here today.
I have been sitting here.
Yes.
Longer than we normally do for any other episode, just waiting to start.
But thank you. Good morning to you guys. Thank you for coming on. This is really, really an honor for us to have you guys on here. It's going to be a great chat we have.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks, you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. We're drinking sake. You guys have your morning coffee. We have our afternoon sake in order of, in honor of Shogun.
Different time zone.
Yeah, different time zone, definitely.
What would be, because we're also going to talk about Shogun, and we're going to talk about your film Protectors of the Land. What would be I don't know much about the Native American culture, but what would there be a drink, a classic drink?
That movie, I don't know. We didn't portray any drinking really. I mean, they were drinking beer at the bar, but that was about it. So
no, we don't want to do what they were doing in the movie.
I actually spent my 21st birthday drinking at the Browning Indian Reservation in Montana.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was in Glacier National Park.
Oh yeah.
And we all used to go to the reservation all the time in Browning, and I went there and got blackout drunk and just had a blast and had an absolute blast.
Did you have any visions like in the film?
Probably.
You did.
Because I remember my friend told me my first shot of the night was wild turkey and my last shot of the night had to be wild turkey.
Oh, there you go.
Nope.
No.
You
don't remember what the last shot was?
No, I don't.
He doesn't remember a lot in between either.
Oh my gosh. So we're going to start the conversation with Mariko's Naginata fight, which is insane. We were just watching the previs. We watched them back to back, the previs and the final cut before you guys got on. We usually start with how it's written, so we don't have it in front of us. But what's your recollection of when you first got the script for that fight?
Well, that just blew me away. I knew we had something really special to work with. I got really excited about that episode. And the cool part about it was they just let us run with the ball as soon as we got the script. Obviously, we had a few meetings and discussed it a bit, but then they'd let us take our team out and get on the location and start to piece it together. And so the first iteration, the previs, is basically what comes from our vision out of what we read and what we felt we wanted to put together for it. And then we get with the director after that of the episode and the producers, and we start to crunch it down, add, delete, modify that it's more in tune with the show necessarily. But I think with that one, you'll see that we were all on the same page pretty much from the start as far as how that whole scene was going to play out. I think one thing you'll also notice is that we always tend to give them more,
right?
Because it's easier to delete than try and add as you get closer to filming, because then it becomes a bit of a panic situation. Oh no, we need more. We got to do this. We got to add that. So we tend to give them more and then just pull bits out and trim it down if we need to.
Yeah. You know what? Every single stunt coordinator that we've ever interviewed on here says we give them way much more, but we know in our heads the pieces that we really want, and then when they need to cut stuff, it's like, oh yeah, let's cut this one that we were kind of expecting to cut. But you have a happy accident if you get everything right.
Yeah, exactly. And fortunately on Shogun, we had the time, the resources to do, pretty much everything. Right. So it was, you can see that it's pretty close to what came out in the show. Actually, that was a fun one. It's
a massive. You sent a picture of the whole cast and crew, everybody sitting together. I mean, it's a massive amount of people. And I know, Charlene, you were stunt coordinating also, and then Lauro, you were second unit directing. Like, so how does that dynamic work? Like, are you changing hats back and forth, and then you also, I know you had coordinators or fight coordinators from Japan. I mean, this is a massive team that you had to manage.
So he's my boss. So we do it right, and me, I step in when he cannot be at two places at the same time.
Right.
So I'm my background, I'm also a stunt performer, and for many years.
Of course, you doubled Halle Berry for like ever.
Like her whole career.
Yeah.
Let's get something straight for the record. When she walks on set, I tell the guys, "Okay, here comes the boss." So you're. That picture is not the cast and crew. That is the stunt team for that particular episode.
Oh, copy. Okay, because I saw two. Did you have? Because I saw two people. It looked like in Mariko's.
Okay.
Yeah.
We did have Anna Sawai in the photo. Come jump in. So she's the only other cast member. I mean, stunts are considered cast, but that's
sure.
All the fighters and doubles and stuff like that. Yeah.
So that makes it even more massive when you add everybody else that has to be factored in on the day, right? How much time did you guys have to prep for this? Like from rehearsals to final shoot?
10 days episode shoot. So,
well, we had basically 2 weeks solid, but there was also meetings and things prior to that. We were lucky because 109 was so busy. We also had all the ninja stuff, fights and things like that. So we had so much to prepare for on that episode, but the previous episodes to that were slower and not as much action. So that gave us the time frame to actually rehearse and previs all those things in 109. So we really got lucky with the way the scripts panned out and things like that.
My brain is going crazy just thinking about the logistics meeting for that episode and breaking all of this down and talking about it to all the different departments and getting everybody. Holy moly! We
were lucky from the start. Everybody was really on the same page and really understood what we were after. And Justin Marks and all the directors that came on, and Frederick Toy was the director of this episode. Just very collaborative and really open to. And I worked on that movie, and they saw the work from there, Last Samurai, and they wanted to keep going down that path. So we trained and we prevised in a very similar manner.
But this is true that it was like a really busy episode, because you have like a lot of department who have to get in sync with this, like the costume, book the performers. Sometimes performers, get sick. You need to replace them. There's a location scout. So we had to be multiple of us all the time. So, but yeah, we managed to that everybody was very collaborative. That's a word, right?
Yes.
So we managed to bring it from A to Z. So
and I would go to the office and see her pulling her hair out because it was COVID time, right? And so it was constantly causing crazy changes for us. And there was 3 shows going on here in Vancouver that needed Asian stunt performers. So there was us, Shogun, there was Airbender, and there was Kung Fu. And so we really had to collaborate with the other stunt coordinators and the other shows. Okay, I want this guy. I'll trade you this guy for that guy. And those 3 guys, I need them. And one girl for that.
We were constantly, on the phone. Like at some point, I remember one coordinator called me, said, "Hey, Charlene, I'm calling everybody for Sunday. It will be faster if you give me the list of people you book, so I don't call them."
Right. It's like stunt trafficking.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. It's kind of a tangent, but somebody called me yesterday. A performer here in New York called me yesterday for my advice because he's on hold for a show that you auditioned for, and can't say what it is, but he's on hold for a show that's shooting here in New York, and then he's on hold for a day, and they're like, "Oh, there's going to be a rehearsal. We just don't know when it is." Right. So then for a day that could coincide with a potential rehearsal day, he got calls for 2 different shows. So he's got basically like a trifecta of possibilities. So as a coordinator, what's your opinion to the performers? Because he was like, how much do I say to each person asking me for that day? Like when I was on Ray Donovan, for example, I was literally on set when Blacklist called me for availability. We had a potential fight scene coming up during the same time, but luckily Doc Duhame, who was the coordinator, was there. He goes, "I'll check right now." And he was like, "I don't want you to lose a job, so take that." But what would your advice be to performers who are getting calls for the same day from multiple people?
You want to speak to that since you end up booking the guy the majority of the time?
Well, first of all, it's like I check the availability. And then I say, okay, pin this, because I don't say your book, pin this. And if you have something else coming up, let me know. And then if something comes up, if it benefits them better to go on the other one, I said, okay, go for it. If they're only going to miss a rehearsal with us, I said, don't worry, I have someone covering for you for the rehearsal, and then you can come on the day. But it all depends on what benefits them the most. I don't want to bone them,
Sure.
And also there's a lot of negotiation, because if it's my lead double, then I'm like, no.
Yeah.
That's the negotiation come down, depend on the priority of it. So
it also really depends how intricate their part is to the piece. If they're a main player, and they're working with a lead actor or something else like that in the fight scene or whatever the action sequence is, they got to be there for the rehearsal. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Right. Like if the leader of the Shinobi couldn't have been there for rehearsal.
Yeah. It would affect it. Right. So then it's, we're going to have to hire this guy because he was there for the week of rehearsal and you couldn't make it. Or if it's a one-day thing, it's not a big deal. And we try to be as fair as we can to our performers. And we've been performers for 30 years, so we know what it's like, and it never rains, it pours, and then it's dry, and so we try to be as fair as possible, but you got to make it work,
I guess it depends as well as how intricate is the stunts. If it's a very high octane stunts, it's like the person really needs to commit to it. But if it's
I mean, that's what I told Jared. It's so funny because, as you know, it's been pretty slow. He's like, I haven't got a call like all year. And all of a sudden I've got 3 for the same week, It's like, it's crazy. Did you guys carry your 1Xs and 2Xs, or were they? Yeah.
I was just going to say, I mean, we were fortunate enough on this show to be able to have our lead doubles on full time, so they were guaranteed. And so they were loyal to us, wouldn't go to other shows, even if they had days off, they were with us, so we needed that.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. So how did you guys work together with do you speak Japanese? Were there translators on set?
So many translators. and cultural liaisons and
right.
We were so consultants. We were so looked after as far as really being accurate, with our authenticity of not only the fights and the action and stuff like that, which we had a lot of conversations, a lot of meetings. I mean, when it came down to how they moved, how they walked, it became a big thing leading up to fight, ending fights, in the middle of fights. I mean, with Anna's character, and she helped us a lot because, they were so adamant that she couldn't take wide stances. She couldn't run fast because they walked in a kind of a shuffle, and I kept saying, when your life depended on it and you're in the middle of a battle, you're going to do what it takes to stay alive. And they said, they pushed it to the point where it's like, no, you would be so ashamed of moving improperly because of the that you would rather kill yourself than take a wide stance or potentially open your kimono to wide view. I mean, so it was a fine line to walk for sure, and we have
no
several
pun
meetings.
intended.
Exactly.
See what you did there?
But yeah, the translators were so important because a lot of the actors especially came from Japan, and so we had them with us all the time when we were rehearsing, when we were pre-visiting, when we were out on location, when we were filming, all the time.
But just a sidebar. Do you remember the movie Lost in Translation?
Of course. Bill Murray.
Right? So they talk for 5 minutes and then the translation, it's 2 words. We had a little bit of that too.
Yeah. I've coached in Japan before, and I understand when I'm talking to my friends over there, it seems like they're giving me a whole paragraph, and then it turns up to be like one sentence.
Like, what did he say?
Wait, is that all you said?
Don't do that.
Yep. Exactly.
But you just spoke to me for half an hour.
Yeah, exactly. But regarding the walking, I mean, that was like, for myself, I studied some kendo, and that was one of the biggest challenges for me was the walk. It was keeping my steps inside the perimeters of my hakama, at least until I, made an attack. It was so challenging,
Oh yeah, and Anna dealt with that so much. The men obviously not so much, but
right.
Yeah, I've got to mention 3 real special guys that we brought on the show.
Sure.
2 of them had worked with me before on The Last Samurai. So Kenji Sato and Obakani, Nobuyuki Obakani, we brought them from Japan. So they had come from Japan to New Zealand with us on The Last Samurai and brought them over here to Vancouver for this show. So they were very instrumental in a lot of the fight choreography with this show. And also Kenji's English is quite good. So he helped translate a lot. Nobuyuki, pretty straight Japanese. And then Hiro Manami was our lead double for number 1. And he came up from Los Angeles, and he was very much bilingual, spoke perfect English and Japanese. So they were really instrumental in the translation, especially when it came to fights and helping to train the actors and so on and so forth. So
I'm sure you saw a difference between his translation, because he was a martial artist and performer, versus, let's say, the provided translator. Because I know when I've been training in Russia, for example, even though my coach speaks perfect English, we would have a translator because we were like a official delegation, and so she would translate, and like the words that she would choose, she'd be like, "Okay, you guys now are going to get down on the carpet," but he would know to say mat, you know what I mean? But technically she was saying the proper word, but it wasn't colloquial to what we were doing. Did you have instances like that?
100%.
Yeah.
Because the translation in martial arts terms compared to just normal living terms is completely different.
Sure.
So it was definitely a thing that we had to catch sometimes, especially when you're talking weapons or, different things like that.
Sure.
So you were obviously bringing in a lot of people from a lot of places, to shoot some of these scenes, especially the bigger battle scenes. Now, I know, being a stuntman, I've been brought in for pre-vises, and I've also been brought in for a scene, and sometimes you're brought in for both. But you guys were kind of in a unique situation, especially during COVID and stuff. So did you use the same people for everything? So were you kind of recalling a lot of people? Did you keep people local? Like, how did you fucking do it?
Oh my god! Oh my.
Because don't forget, I basically ran COVID for a show for 2 years. Like, that was my job for Disney. I got to know, how the fuck did you do it?
He was a health and safety coordinator for Disney during COVID, so he's very aware of the juggling act. Yeah.
So basically, we used the entire pool of Asian stunt performer. And then there was a lot of people who were recycled as well. Like, we sing XYZ today, so you're going to be in this costume and learn, there was a lot of that. And the hair and makeup and costume department had to be very flexible and understanding that sometimes you will have multiple stunt performer in the same costume for one character because of backup, if you see what I mean. But so they play ball with that. And also it was a double whammy because we didn't have enough people as well. So we had to, if we had different character, we had to make sure if they were the same pool of people to put the makeup differently, to transform them so you don't go, hey, it was the same guy there that in that scene, So there was a lot of how you say that? Juggle.
And you guys were running into that in one season. I heard of that, like, in The Walking Dead, when they were in season 3 or 4, that people were starting to recognize people in the background. But to run into that right off the bat.
Yeah, they always had a beard ready or nothing, or a mustache, or, or we throw a samurai mask on them, or whatever the case might be. But yeah, it was tricky. And just to explain one of the even trickier things that we had to deal with, when we first started, they wanted Japanese stunt performers, right? They wanted to keep it as authentic as possible. Well, in Canada, there's maybe a half a dozen Japanese performers. So, okay, I'm going to start flying them in from Japan or LA or wherever. And of course, that cost factor changed their minds a bit. And so we went out to the Japanese community here in Vancouver, and we brought in about 220. I asked for athletes, and they came and auditioned, and we did it over 2 or 3 days, 8 hours a day, just putting them through an audition of physical skills with sword, naginata, spears, so on and so forth. And then out of those 220, I found about 20 that we felt that could potentially be stunt performers with more training and with some time. So we had a boot camp for 6 weeks, teaching them all those things. And they did very well, and we used some of them for a while, but they just didn't have the set experience. They didn't have the knowledge, everyday experience of being on set. So all their skills were okay. You had to be so patient, and we didn't have the time. So then we had subsequent meetings with production, and they said, okay, you can open it up to any Asian ethnicity, Korean, Chinese, Vietnamese, whatever it might be, but you have to stay in the Asian realm of things. And so we have a huge stunt community here with a lot of great Asian stunt performers. So we're able to bring all our past performers in, which saved us. It really saved us.
And there's one day that was pretty amazing because we had every possible A-lister stunt performer ever, the stunt coordinator from this show, from the guy from the Ninja Turtle, your co-worker. It was amazing that day to see all those guys in the same spot. You're just wow, what just happened here?
That's
so it
awesome.
was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I did notice looking through the IMDb that not all of the stunt performers' names were Japanese. There were other Asian nationalities. But even Darlene Pineda, is that who was in the previs that you sent us for this fight?
Yes. She was Anna Sawai's stunt double. Yeah, and she's Filipino.
Right. She was great in the previs.
Yeah, she's great. She was a dead ringer for Anna as well. Yeah, and they really hit it off together. I mean, Anna did 99.9% of everything. Yeah. Darlene was always there to set it up and help show her the choreography.
You actually started training for Anna back in Japan with Nobu, and then she was there. She brought the bar very high, even for for Darlene.
Yeah.
So I have a kind of a weird question, but maybe not. There's been so much, the film industry has changed so much between The Last Samurai and Shogun. But both movies had huge, giant battle scenes. What was the biggest difference between shooting a battle scene back then to shooting a battle scene now, especially during COVID? Like when you had a lot of restrictions on what you could bring in and what you could do.
Well, when I worked with Nick Powell on The Last Samurai, we had a stunt team of 90 guys, and multiple we call them background performers, but these guys were still fighters, right? So I trained so many of them, 850 I think we had out in the field, and it was just, the scope was so much bigger on The Last Samurai, and we used so many more people. Where on Shogun, and they were just starting on The Last Samurai to do duplication and plate shots and multiplications. So, we had almost 1,000 people out on the field, and we would multiply it into 10,000 soldiers. You know what I mean? And with Shogun, the technology is so much better. The CG is so much better that we would have 40, I think was where we maxed out. And, they would turn it into, 4,000 or 10,000. When we would read the script and read 10,000 samurai come over the hill, it's like, holy shit, where are we going to find all those guys? But,
So did they also like layer change the background, put them back in different places and kind of layer it that way? Or did they just have one group and then CGI the rest?
Well, they would use them. They would pepper them in all over the place. And then, and then talking to Michael, they did a lot of just their own CG as well. So it was a combination of that.
Awesome.
I mean, that battle scene was amazing. The cannon scene.
Oh, that was such a great little videos you sent us right before we started. Steve and I were loving it.
Yeah,
that was so cool.
I especially got super excited when I read 104 and that sequence came up, and I was like, because I've been wanting to recreate from Rambo. I guess it was number 5. He has a 50 cal and he's just cutting people, right? And so I pulled that off YouTube, and I went to Justin Marks and said, "Is that what you want right there? Right? We want to do that." And he's like, "Hell yeah, let's do that!" Because awesome. I could see that thing.
For the audience, we're talking about the big battle scene and the cannons hitting and
the cannons are like they're loaded with chains and stuff,
and just everyone getting pulled and blown in different directions from the cannons.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it was called Chain Shot, and it was something that Cosmo's character Blackthorn, they would use at sea, and they'd shoot chain shot at another ship, and it would cut the mast,
take the masts,
and knock them down, and then they couldn't sail and run away or whatever, or even come at them. So he decided to use that for battle in the field, and you could take out multiple guys with this chain just flying in and taking out horses and everything. So yeah, we got to do that. It was really cool.
Pirates were awesome.
Oh yeah. But the ratchets looked like so much fun. I was like jealous of those guys. That looked like so much fun.
Oh yeah.
Well, and the pick points from all the different places was really cool, like the back and the knee or the hip or that made the pulls really epic, and everyone just kind of went different.
How much did you work with the VFX people on that? Because they must have been thinking like, well, legs are going to come off here, heads are going to come off here. How much did you work with them to kind of choreograph all that stuff?
A lot, really. Michael was awesome to work with on that, and he was just following my lead on where I wanted to tear an arm off, and so I picked somebody in the shoulder or pick him on the thigh, and even high on the neck for a headshot. And then he said, "We'll just tie a pink ribbon around wherever you feel the chain is hitting and cutting that thing off, and we'll keep an eye on that, and you pick them wherever you want." And then we went back over it after we started doing the choreography of the pulls.
Mm-hmm.
So we would start with, one at a time and just get everybody their own individual pulls, and then start to put them together in 3, 5, and eventually 9. And then I said we talking to the director, they wanted basically 2 groups of guys. And so if the first shot went and these guys got hit, these guys would panic and start to run. So then I had to start doing some moving ratchets and having cross each other and watch that the lines didn't get them hung up, and so on and so forth. So it was a lot of fun to put together, and Michael came out, our special effects supervisor, and he kind of oversaw and we talk about how it was going to work for him.
And you had horses on top of it inside of that sequence. So animals, ratchet, and also we had for your prior question, is like we had the rehearsal with guys, and then two of them couldn't come back, so I had to replace them on the day. So one of them never done ratchet, he did it, and then the other one, his father came and stepped in for his son. So that was
And
what's your advice? What's your advice to the guy who's never been on a wire? Just exhale and go for the ride.
No, well, I heard the story. We had a little powwow about it because we needed like a performer. So I ended up going on Instagram, looking at my guys, martial arts friends, and then who's that? And I look at them and they're pretty physical. So we had them audition oh my God, we had them audition into a basement underground parking, with our three lead choreographer to test them. It's like, don't tell anyone. I know it sounds weird, but we have to meet over there, Anyways, we had to do this.
It's almost like advice and other things, what I'm not going to mention, but it's just like, just relax, take a deep breath and let it happen.
Just let it. Yeah.
Well, we were down in an underground parking garage, 6 levels down. So we told these guys, come down there. This is where we're going to be training for the day. And they come down there, and our 3 guys are all standing there with swords. And you show up in this underground parking garage. It's kind of darkly lit, What did we get ourselves into,
I mean, I can imagine they're like, the email said here, the lights are out, 6 stories down in this empty parking garage. Like, it's like a spy movie.
It's like, are we shooting Shogun or Highlander?
Anyway, so that guy stand out. That guy was amazing. It's like, you teach him something, he's like, boom. It was like amazing. So anyways, we had him out first day on the earthquake situation, and all the other stunt performer was like, who's this? It's great. So when this happened, we lost 2 performer due to COVID. We go, what do you think? And he's like, oh yeah, you sure? Oh yeah. That it happened like in 5 seconds. I'm like, Tak, you're on. Yes. The new guy is on.
His name is Taki, and we were constantly hazing him a bit, breaking him in and stuff like that. And so I gave him the most straightforward ratchet that he could have. I mean, it was a good hard hitting, but it was so muddy and so slippery, they just skipped off of anyway, sort of thing. And then we wanted a close up of one of them just face first into a puddle, right? And the puddles were made from horse hooves and other substances that ended up in the water. Right. So let's put the new guy's face into the water, sort of thing, with the close-ups. He was getting constant jobs like that, and
he had a big smile after each rehearsal. So
there you go.
You went, hey, Tak, you just ruined the shot, and he felt so, but it was a joke, because he was happy. We knew we had a good performance.
Stop smiling.
Well, he was.
Steve says to me when we spar and he punches me in the face.
Yeah. Like, what are you smiling for, asshole? But you know what? It's like he's living the dream, man. How could you do anything but smile?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. And to talk about the horse stuff in that sequence a little bit, we had one guy getting bucked off, so we had a bucking horse there, and then Hiro Minami did a great rear off for us, and it was really cool because he just did a traditional rear up, horse straight up and down, came out the back door off the back of the horse, but Michael made it so that he got hit as he was at his peak, and then just tore the upper part of his body off, and then the bottom half split off the horse. So it looked amazing. So really
for those who just a rear up is basically like old school Zorro, the Lone Ranger, coming up on the back two of the horse, and then he falls off the back of the horse. So yes, just give visualization for those who aren't understanding the terms of what's going on.
And also, just for those listening, remember, we're linking this stuff in the show notes. Mm-hmm. So go hit pause, go watch the fights, and then come back. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, that was great timing on Hiro's part because it was a panning shot. We were panning the chain shot coming in, so he had to rear the horse as the camera got to him. So it was a real timing nightmare, and the horse performed great, which is not always the case, when you're working with animals. And then the big one was Nobuyuki did a horse fall for us, so that means taking the horse down. So we brought in a specially trained horse, and when you pull on the rein, the horse's head will turn and he'll basically lay down. So this horse was trained to do it off of a rear. And it's really, really tough to do a horse fall nowadays because of the Humane Society and all that. So the horse has to be trained specifically, and you have to prove that you're not hurting the horse. So you have to build a special bed for them to fall on that's cushioned, it's soft. And this horse would do 2 rears. It would do a half rear and then a full rear, and then it would turn its head and crash down on its shoulder. And they said, okay, well, it took me 2 months, just negotiations and paperwork and talking with them and showing them videos and us training the horse and so on and so forth. And finally said, okay, you can do it, but no rearing. Well, the horse needs to rear before it does the fall. That's what he's used to. So to try to stop the horse from rearing and get him to fall was a whole nother training sequence of 2 weeks.
Oh, my.
And then finally we got that happening. But it was so rainy and so muddy and so many people on set, the horse got nervous and just reverted back to its original training. So it ended up doing it, and it looked great. But, they had to come in and walk the horse and check the horse and make sure the horse is okay. Talk to the horse. You okay? You doing okay now? Can you got another one in you?
And of course the horse answered them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what we all do. We all regress to the mean, right? Under stress, we go back to like our base training.
Absolutely.
Which is what the horse did.
Yeah. Because your head's not there. Your body just does what it's trained to do.
Yeah.
So my question is, the person on the horse, legs, horse, 1,000 pounds.
It's
how do you get him? How do you get him out of the way?
Yeah, as your horse is peaking and starting to tip, you lift that underleg out of there and get it up by the neck so that you don't catch it underneath.
That's awesome. Can you just do that again for us?
For those listening, if you're on Apple Podcasts right now, go to the YouTube. So Lauro, you were second unit director, but we know that you're a director and you have your own film out now on Tubi called Protectors of the Land. And in a way, it is also about another. I mean, I'm sure cultural sensitivity was super important for this film as it was for Shogun, right? Except now we're in the Native American culture. Tell us a little bit about where this movie came from for you.
Well, I have indigenous blood, but from a much more southern area of Mexico. So my deep background is Aztec. So I have a little niche in me that wants to write for that as well. And so anyway, it was born out of that. And I got reading an article about the drug cartel taking over the drug trade in Alaska. And this was something real that I was reading up online. And basically they got busted. They were taping drugs to women, flying them from Texas and Arizona and lower southern states, because you're not crossing a border, you're flying into another state. So they didn't get checked or anything. And accidentally, a dog sniffed one of them out, and then they started watching every single woman or a woman traveling alone coming into Alaska, and they caught a lot of them. So they had to change up their game. Now, what that game ended up being, I don't know, but I just ran with the ball from there. And I thought, okay, if I was the cartel and I was trying to get drugs into Alaska, they're obviously getting a lot of drugs into Canada. So I would try and go across that border from the Yukon into Alaska, because you cannot watch that whole border through that immense wilderness up there. So that's where the story started. And then I ran with the ball from there. And I wanted a strong indigenous component of them taking back their land, basically, that was being decimated by the drug trade.
And also, you're really involved in the community because you did the IAM program. So that's a thing you've been doing all your life, even in Saskatchewan or over here, train the youth, into the business. So,
tell us about that program. What program is that?
Well, a few years back, prior to making this film, a good friend of mine, Bruce Crawford, and I put together a program we called IAM, Indigenous Action Artist Mentorship Program. And really, in our stunt community, it's really hard to find indigenous performers. So we have a real need for that, especially with a lot of the films that are being done now. And way back in the day, when you did a Western, they just would paint the white guys and have them fall off a horse and stuff like that. So,
or even in the 90s, I mean, you could name the top 5, Wes Studi, Green, you had him in your movie.
Oh, Graham Greene.
They're the I don't want to say cliche as a, and make it sound racist, but
they were the go-to people.
But they were the go-to, Native American actors. And it's so nice that when you see, I feel like now you're starting to see a lot more of that and a lot more of those familiar faces instead of just those 5.
I mean, we had Nathaniel Arcand, Martin Sensmere is big, Michael Gray Eyes. There's a lot now working.
Tanaya, Beatty.
Yeah, and Tanaya was with us. But I mean, not so long ago, their stunt doubles were always, Caucasian people and things like that. So we're trying to help make that change by bringing Indigenous stunt performers into the business. So we started out a training program for them and a mentorship program. And so now, like one of the guys we got, Pat Alec, he's just working all the time. He's flying here, he's flying there, he's going all over the place, and he's working nonstop.
Awesome. I mean, if you have a website, be sure to send it to us. We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing with this show, and we wanted to keep true to that. And we had some of our IAMP students come on the show and help out for sure.
That's awesome.
So, since you've literally just went into this small little aspect, it makes me say the next thing I want to say is that I watched this movie and there are so many little things like this that have such great backstories that it should be fleshed out into a series. The drug trade is such a great story. And then obviously the town is a great story. So all of these little things after I was done watching it, it was weird not wanting more was kind of is a weird statement, but I wanted to know more.
I can vouch for that because I was trying to watch Peter Jackson's King Kong last night because the next episode we're recording is like about remakes.
Yes.
And every 5 fucking minutes, this guy's texting me saying, Lauro's movie needs to have an episode, like it needs to be a series, and like they need to do a whole episode on this. Like I'm trying to watch a 3.5 hour movie that I was bored to. It's like, and the phone kept going off like, yo, that invasion scene was awesome. Do you see the door hit her in the face? Boom. Like, and then, he was like, there's another episode right here. It was so funny, dude.
Oh, wow. You're awesome.
So now you need to take this thing and go shove it under a pillow somewhere when you go to watch a movie.
Oh, right? God, I know. Except my wife works nights, so I keep it on. It's just a long story. Every time the text went off, I'm like, son of a... Is that my wife texting me? And then it would be just Paul.
It is. It's your second wife.
It's my second wife. Yeah, exactly.
So I gotta speak to our teamwork, not just on Shogun, but for this movie as well. So during what I like to call the COVID vacation, I started writing the script. And first iteration was just I wanted to make a little $1 million movie, just a bunch of stunt guys running around the forest killing cartel. Right? That I didn't have the depth that the movie finally had, and that's a big part of thanks to this lady because we have some property about 3 hours out of town. So when we're driving out to our ranch, we have a lot to talk about sometimes.
I took his year off.
So we got talking about the storyline and what could make it deeper, what could make it more meaningful to the audience and stuff like that, and adding family elements and the daughter and the way the wife survives or doesn't survive and so on and so forth in the movie.
The emotion
and the emotion component, yeah. Because I was just being a hardcore stunt guy, and it was all about the action, right? So anyway, we built in a lot of emotional and after hearing this story, and then another friend of hers collaborated and said, yeah, that's going to make this and that. And I'm like, you guys want me to make a freaking Hallmark movie? I don't want to do that.
You sound like George Lucas talking to his ex-wife when she said, no, you need, because she was responsible for so many of the emotional moments in the original Star Wars. And she won an Oscar for editing.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel because she edited Star Wars and she won the Oscar for editing Star Wars. But she was the one that would say, like, no, Han Solo needs to, like that kiss between Leia and Luke has to happen. And then, or like the little moments where like the droid was afraid by Chewbacca and it has to turn. That was all her. Like Lucas would be like, no, I just want to get to like this other stuff. She's like, no, you need to build up the emotional aspect of these things.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm listening to you guys.
It's funny, when I had my first coordinating scene, I had to coordinate a small little fight around a kiss. And in my head, I was like, I have to do what George Lucas's wife did.
Oh.
But I was like this. I was pissed off. 2 days I was pouting around the house and like, I'm not writing that shit. I'm not writing that shit. And then in my head, I knew I had to, and she was right, and that it was going to make this much better. So then I finally kicked my ass and got back into work. But I did like 45 versions of that script. I rewrote.
For your defense, I have to say he's very open. That's what I like about him. Is like he's gonna balk for 5 minutes, and then you think about it, and it's like okay.
But you're an executive producer, so you could put your foot down and say, no, you're going to do this.
Or he'll do it, and then afterwards you'll be like, so how did it go? You've been like, it went fine. I did what you said.
No, he right. Yeah, no, yes, you're correct. But he get up at night and he just write. I just don't know how he's capable of, write that fast. He's so creative and he learn all the time. He's a self-taught person, so he study a lot by himself, like storytelling, the cinematographic language, watch a lot of movies, and he always try to improve his skills. He even left one time. Yeah, I'm gonna go in LA. He left on his motorcycle 2 days, went there, did a seminar of writing, and then right back, go to work. That's how he is. So it was you did a good job, babe.
Oh, thank you,
Lauro. Can I ask, like, from in your own timeline in this industry, did you start out wanting to do the storytelling part, the writing part, or did you start out just want to do the stunts? I'm a martial arts guy, and then did you learn to be interested in the deeper part of the filmmaking process?
Well, let's take it back. Before I was ever a martial artist, at 8 years old, I decided I wanted to be a stuntman. Right. But it was because of martial arts, because I was a huge Chuck Norris fan. And my mom took me to
that's cool.
Even before I was a Chuck Norris fan.
Because you worked on Walker, Texas Ranger, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I got even deeper stories in regards to Chuck Norris. But anyway, she took me to a film when I was 8 years old. We lived out on the ranch in the middle of nowhere, but we would go to this small town of about 150 people, and they would show once a month a movie on the wall in the town hall. You just put chairs out and a popcorn machine in the corner, and you watch the movie. So when we're watching, I think it was The Octagon, I said, "Oh, I want to be like when I grow up," right?" And she said, "What, like Chuck Norris?" And I said, "No, the guy who's kicking through the wall." I smash into things and jump off of things and fall off my horse and all that kind of stuff. So she says she had lived a while in Los Angeles and had a brush with Hollywood. So she goes, "Oh, you want to be a stuntman?" And I glommed onto that, and I went to the library and I read every book I could about stunts or stuntmen or making movies, and try to find where the stunt people fit in. And then that was just on my mind from the time I was 8 years old until I finally got to step foot in the business. wasn't until I was about 22.
What opened that door for you?
Extra work and my tenacity to get on a set and trying to find out how to do that. But I started as an extra so I could get on set, get close to the stunt people, meet them, meet the stunt coordinator, start giving my resume. And back then there really wasn't. It was pictures of me jumping out of a tree and pictures of me on a horse. Stuff like that, because they, you can say,
send them a link.
Believe you, I got to see it to believe it, sort of thing. So
yeah, that
was the early beginnings. Yeah, but quick Norris story. My second stunt ever was on a Chuck Norris movie called The Hitman, and I wasn't even supposed to be there.
Hold on a second. I just need to break this down because, in a way, I just want to say like that's awesome and fuck you. So your hero was Chuck Norris, and you wanted to get into stunts for Chuck Norris, and your fucking second job, you worked with Chuck Norris.
Big accident. Big accident.
Awesome. Fuck you. Keep telling your story.
And somebody,
no, you know what? The accidents only result if the preparation is there.
It's that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, this is a chain of events that you couldn't even wish for. So my sensei, Shihan Fumio Demura, was good friends with Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
And when Chuck came back from Korea out of the war, he came and trained with Sensei Demura. So he learned how to use his hands because he did Tang Sudo, knew how to use his feet really well, but not his hands. So they were training together, became really good friends. So Chuck would come to Sensei's tournament every February and shake hands with the fans and be a celebrity at his annual tournament. Well, Chuck was shooting in Vancouver, the Hitman, when his tournament was going to happen. So Sensei contacted me and he says, I'm going to mail you a letter. Can you go to set and get Chuck to sign it? And we'll put it in our program, our tournament program. So he emails me this letter, and then he calls Chuck and he says, I'm going to have this kid come to set. Please let him on your set. So I go, I tell him my name. They let me on the set. I meet Chuck and he goes, what are you doing here? And I said, I'm trying to become a stuntman. You're trying to be a stuntman? He thought I flew up from Los Angeles with this letter. And I said, no, I live here now. Sensei emailed me the letter. Oh, okay, well, stick around. We'll have lunch. So I'm like, I'm going to fucking have lunch with Chuck Norris. Holy shit.
How awesome.
Right? So while we're having lunch, the stunt coordinator had been sent home. The armor had been sent home because there was supposed to be no stunts. But he says, we're gonna think something up for you. We're gonna make something up. You're gonna do a stunt. And I'm like, what? How is this even happening? Right? It's just blowing my mind.
What the fuck?
So there was a guy in a scene. His name was Bruno Jerus. He was an actor in the movie. And I kind of looked like him. I had a beard and crazy long hair at the time. So they said, we can make you look like Bruno. So Bruno was supposed to be killed by Chuck Norris. And Chuck Norris can't do it because he's his best friend. Like, the guy had been gutted and tortured. So they were going to put him out of his misery in the scene. And he hands the gun to Al Waxman, another actor, and he's supposed to do it for him, right? Sort of thing. So that was going to be it for the scene. But they said, let's have this kid do the funky chicken after he gets shot and fall off the table. And there's your stunt, right? Easy for the kid. It's his first stunt. So let's do this, right? So that was all going good, and we rehearsed it and stuff. Then the director wanted more flash coming out of the gun. Well, how do you get more flash? And he's screaming at the props guys, hurry up, give me more flash. And they're panicking. They go back to the props. How do you get more flash? Gunpowder. Okay.
Pack it up.
So they
pour gunpowder down the story? Barrel. This is the story. I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. They pour gunpowder down the barrel on top of a full load blank, and they bring it back to set. Now, this is a 9mm repeating pistol. Right. So the restrictor screwed in the barrel. So your barrel's that big, it makes it that much smaller. So you get.
And for those of you that don't know, he's basically talking about something that looks like a thick ring that goes down the middle of the barrel.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so that's thread. It's screwed in there super tight.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of two things was going to happen. Either the gun is going to blow up in the actor's face, or what really happened was it stripped the threads on that restrictor and blew it out like a bullet. So
wow.
I was laying on the table and it felt like somebody hit me with a hot sledgehammer in the side, and it just knocked the wind out of me like crazy. My diaphragm had been paralyzed. And so they cut and they're like, what's wrong with this kid? He's just being a pussy because he's a new guy and he can't take a hit, or they thought it was a piece of wadding or something.
Right.
Then the first aid person comes over and she's trying to give me oxygen, and then she looks and there's a little hole the size of a pea in my side. And it wasn't even bleeding. It was just a little flap of skin. Yep. But the way I couldn't breathe and the way I was struggling, she said, we better call an ambulance. And it took 45 minutes to get the ambulance there. By then I'm throwing blood, so they knew shit was wrong. Rushed me to the hospital. Took an x-ray. They saw something in my liver over on the other side. So they took me in, cut me open, and tried to fix everything from my left side all the way across to my right side.
So it ricocheted. It was like a 22 bouncing around inside of you, basically.
Well, it went across.
Yeah.
Right, from this side through my stomach intestine and stopped in my liver. And the doctor said, wow, were you ever lucky? I said, well, I don't feel so lucky. And he goes, you got two main veins in your liver, and that thing stopped right between them. He said, if it had severed one of those, you'd have bled to death long before you got to the hospital.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, long story short, 2 weeks in the hospital, 3 operations, 4 months of recovery, and then I was back to stunts.
I was about to say, I'm like, what did Chuck Norris say?
You're in the family now. You're going to work on every Chuck Norris movie here till the end of time.
Oh my God. But that's an insane story because
it's an insane story.
No, well, one, because it's not known by people, right? And I'm just listening to you tell the story.
This was also before. This was way before Brandon Lee. A few years before. 2 years
almost
before.
2 years before. For the stage.
Just, if memory serves me correctly, and I know they went over it when in the Safe Sense documentary a little bit. It was spoken about. But wasn't it and also like a wadding, like something that was stuck in that pistol as well for him?
A real bullet. So here's the story. They had one pistol. It was like a revolver, like a 6-shooter.
Right.
And they needed to do some second unit shots.
A big 357 when he was on the bed.
Yeah. So they took the gun to second, and they were doing close-ups of putting bullets in there. But the props guys didn't have any dummy rounds. Now, a dummy round is a casing with a bullet in it, but there's no gunpowder in there. And they put a little ball bearing in there. You can shake it. Yeah. Safe, right? So they didn't have those. So the props guy grabs some real live bullets out of his trunk, and he goes, we'll take the bullet head out, pour out the gunpowder, crimp it, and put it back in. So, they thought that was safe. They did them, and then they actually pulled the trigger. Well, there's still a primer in that casing, and it was to put one of those loose bullet heads halfway down the barrel, popped it in. All of a sudden, they get a call on the radio. We need the gun back on main unit. We're doing the scene now. So they rushed that gun back to main unit.
And it was the bullet head.
There was a bullet head lodged down the barrel. Now they put full load blanks in it. And they give it to the actor and say, don't point at Brandon, point off to the left or the right. But he was freaking out. He was screaming, bang, 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 bang. And he ended up shooting right through the grocery bag that Brandon was using, and the bullet went in. And I got a call that night at 2 a.m. from a friend on set, said, same thing happened to Brandon as you. He's on his way to the hospital. And I said, he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. He's in great shape. He's young. He's going to recover like I did.
But it hit that artery.
His went straight in, lodged against his spine, and he bled to death before they could get it out.
And to this day, we still don't require ambulances.
It's kind of crazy because that is, without such detail, the story that I basically heard was that, there was a loading scene that wasn't in the movie, and then a tip of the bullet fell out.
Yeah.
And that was the short version of it, but I never, holy shit.
So I'm sure you are extremely now more oriented toward set safety when it comes to firearms or just any scenes, I'm sure.
100%. I've fired people off of the set for dicking around with guns. Won't let people point a rubber gun or spin it or jack around with a rubber gun. And they're like, it's a rubber gun. There's nothing in it. Yeah, but you're building habits. Now we give you a gun with a blank gun. You're going to dick around with it and point it at people. And then you're going to pull the trigger and someone's going to get hurt. So get the fuck off my...
When we do our gun drills, after you do a take or whatever, we always say, put the gun on the ground. Don't hand the gun to the person because you're going to get in the habit of handing the gun back to the guy you just took it from. So it's just like it's just habit building. Like, don't build bad habits.
We all know it. You know what it is? This is a big tangent, the safety tangent, but it's like, just like training, you do what you train to do, right? So if you horseplay with rubber guns, you will treat real guns poorly, improperly.
Yeah, I've seen it way too often, and I won't happen on my set.
After the Rust incident, there, in the U.S. anyway, right? We have OSHA, and then they realized, we have no national standard for. They don't have a national standard for many things. There's no national standard for set medics, first of all, which is crazy, and then there's no national standard for weapons on set, not just firearms, any weapons on set. And so long story short, I'm on the work group, the national work group for writing the new national standard for weapons on set, which will be available for public review, which you should comment on in about 2.5 weeks, and I will absolutely send you the link.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because we have and the sad thing with any standard that's written, even if this is going to become the standard for OSHA investigations or whatever, they're still voluntary. It's still a production still has to agree to follow this standard. It's not statutory in law. It's crazy.
It is crazy, especially since people have died. That's the ridiculous part.
Yeah.
And we're just making movies. No one should even get hurt, let alone die.
Exactly. Speaking of getting hurt, though.
When you say, it just you saying we're just making movies just made a light bulb go off. It's, yes, we're just making movies. Why do you even need to think about using a real gun?
Well, that's a whole nother discussion that I can tell you.
Because Rust is, I'm like, why are you even thinking or considering using an actual live? Well, if you want to, technically blanks are live.
Well,
but if you wanted to live firing,
live ammunition. Yeah, blanks are live. They have a They have gunpowder or primer. There's no projectile. There's no bullet.
But in general, why would they allow any type of a weapon on set that can be used offset to actually shoot?
So I can tell you in terms of the new draft national standard that's being, because this covers theater and recorded and television and film.
Yeah.
Generally, the general consensus of the work group, which has about 30 people in it, representing studios, performers, myself as a performer, other prop masters, SFX people. There's tons of people on this committee. The general consensus is you don't need that on set. But when you're writing a minimum national standard, then all of a sudden you have to consider, okay, what is the scope of this standard, right? So there are reality shows or competition shows or other shows where there absolutely has to be a live round on set. Like maybe it's the Olympics and they're shooting rifles, or maybe it's so there had to be, you'll see when the standard comes out, there's generally a consensus, like you don't need that on set, but there are exceptions, and then there's a bit about exceptions, but which is why the standard goes to public review for folks like Lauro and everybody else to provide comments, and then it has to go back to the committee and we have to address all the public review.
Well, I know I've said something before. I've had a gun pointed at my head, obviously on set. And I literally was just like, I'm not comfortable looking down the barrel. I'm like, can you just...
Yeah, 5 degrees.
Just 5 degrees off the camera's not going to notice. Nobody's going to notice. I know it's your first time. I'm like, but I feel uncomfortable when you're pointing that thing at my head.
Listen, I've told this story. I've told this story before. My very first union job was on Blacklist, right? I was playing typical bad guy. Blanks. Yeah, this is pre-Rust, so blanks were common, right? So the co-star was horseplaying with the gun on set. This is my first day, right? So I walk over and I politely be like, "Hey, man, dude, can you holster that? I know it's not loaded. I know the armorer unloaded it and checked it with you, but can you just holster it and just be chill with it?" And explain why. I basically the same reason you did. Look, the way you treat it now is going to be the way you treat it when it's loaded and XYZ. And he was actually really cool about it. He's like, I've never held a gun before today.
Oh,
wow.
He's an actor. He's like, I've never held a gun before today. And then
here's the crazy thing. Both you guys have stories. You getting pointed at your head, and in this situation, the armorer should have spoke to him. The stunt coordinator should have spoke to him. The first AD should have spoke to him. That should never have even gotten that far. You guys shouldn't have had say anything.
100%. And then I come back and I'm sure you guys know the culture. I come back to hang out with the stunt people in between takes and they're like, "Yo, dude, don't talk to the actor like that. Don't approach the actor." I'm just like, "Listen, he's playing around with a gun. I don't give a fuck who he is." I mean, I have experience with firearms, but a lot of other people don't, but it's like, I'm going to go over and talk to him. I don't care if he's Brent Spiner or whoever is the co-star that day. I'm going to talk to him. It wasn't Brent Spiner, by the way. That's just an example. But it's like, yeah, I'm going to say something. Safety is a team sport. It's not an individual thing.
Well, exactly. And who cares who they are? We're all people, and everybody wants to go home at night without a bullet hole in them. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So please, let's get back to your movie, though. I want to get back to your movie, which does have a fair amount of gunplay in it. But that
shotgun play.
Yeah, shotgun play. By the way, we have a little bit of a 6-degree separation connection to your movie because what's his name? He played the FBI agent.
Neil Jackson.
Yeah, Neil. So he was in Absentia. He was in that movie, that TV show Absentia, for the run, written by Matt Cyrilnik, and we just worked on a proof of concept.
I just coordinated a movie for Matt
with Matt.
A short. Yeah.
Oh wow, we just worked with Matt. So that was like, I was like, oh cool.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah,
connection across borders and productions. But that scene, I wrote it in my review of the movie, but I fucking love that scene where the two drug dealers break into her house. It's so brutal.
It is brutal, and I'm like one of those. I'll say, and I said it before. In my head, I can't. There's certain things that just I can't stand. Rape is one of those things, And that scene was so brutal. All I was saying while it was going on was, don't rape her. I want to watch this. Don't rape her. I want to watch this. And he didn't. But it was still so brutal. Just that I'm saying that's where I went, was how fucked up that you portrayed that scene, and that's how it looked.
Well, he didn't. You didn't go the trope. The trope would have been to sexual assault.
Well, no, but I'm saying the fact that I was waiting for it to happen just goes to show how brutal it was.
Dude, from the moment, I joked about it before, but from the moment when they kicked in the door and it slammed in her face, that sold so hard. I was like, oh my God, that was amazing.
I covered my mouth. I was like, ooh.
That was her daughter. Her daughter
no was kidding. Really? Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. She sold that so
what a sell.
So well. I was like, that might have been one of those takes where where you actually get hit.
I was like, was that hand to head to face? Because that looked great.
I hate that when anybody does a sell and hits their head on a stairwell or a wall or something. I no way. That's a wrestling thing. This is
right.
Stunts.
That's
just react 6 inches before you get there.
That's just great artwork. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was just so brutal.
So Ganelle Royer, her daughter, was Tanaya's stunt double, and she did the door and the fight and the table and everything. Yeah.
And the camera was in the perfect spot because it sold so great.
Look, I even have it in our notes, and I didn't even notice the last name.
Oh my God. It's like when I was like fucking 35 and I found out that Simon Rhee and Philip Rhee were brothers from Best of the Best. And I was like, that's why that fight looks so awesome, because they were beating the shit out of each other their whole lives.
Yeah.
So did your daughter, it's a little pivot, but nice transition. Did your daughter, she obviously grew up in the industry, so did she always want to do this, or how did she end up there?
Oh my God. Well, first off, it's like I had her when I was 19 years old. So I was a single mom raising 2 daughters. So, and I was in the industry. So every set, I was bringing kids with me. So everybody in the industry know my daughters. And she grew up, watching me doing this. One went, nah, I don't want to do this. The other one's like, I want to do this. So we're like this, sometimes we don't talk to each other and we end up dressing the same. It's like we're pretty similar. And when I decided,
you just wrote the outline for a fucking movie.
And they look like sisters.
And when I retired, from performing and I went into the chair of stunt coordinating and assisting him, I was still receiving phone calls like, hey, Char, do you want to? I'm like, no, I can't, but I know someone who can. Who looks like me. So, and then it kind of pick up and so that's,
sure.
And our kids are all in the industry. It's really funny. And
then Hallie called her to double her on
Moonfall,
yep. And she said, "Oh, but Ganelle could
do it."
So she went and took it over from her mom.
Oh,
I mean, that's like we've started saying, it's not who you know, but who knows you when you're not in the room. Your mom.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So this was obviously an indie film. You said it was about $1 million budget or so. Like, how much? No,
you want it to be.
Okay.
Wait a second. Hold on. You didn't even get $1 million for that budget?
Yeah,
because I know movies that have been like $10 million that were giant pieces of shit that didn't even compare to that.
Yeah, 2.5 US is what we were able to cobble together. Yeah,
with the tax put it in when you calculate that, and
you made that.
That's great.
14 days. We shot it in 14 days.
14 days. Wow.
We don't advise anyone to do so. We end up doing it so because we didn't have any choice for some reason that happened. Bad luck during the pre-production. So it's like we were either not make it happen or making it happen, and we both survival mode. We make it happen. So he was doing like 68, setup a day average per day. And this is not someone who knows how production goes. It's like the average normally when you shoot a movie, it's way less than that.
Usually 40 is a big day.
It's a big day.
Right? It's usually the mid-20s to mid-30s setups, but we were doing 68, 70 sometimes and stuff like that. But,
so anyways, he managed to have everything down in the can, but it took you a lot of organization and planification, and
So
I was and some other investors, and I put my own skin in the game, and they matched it. So we got enough for basically half the budget, and the other half came from tax credits.
Oh, wow. That kind of led into my next question, though, about prep time for that fight. So was this a show up on the day and kind of rehearse it on the day and shoot it? Or
no?
We had one day where we put it together. So I brought the actors and my daughter, and we rehearsed that. Mm-hmm. And then Lauro stepped in and said, no, tweak this, tweak that. And, we show him something, and then Lauro bring it to there. So they learned that. And then on the day, that was,
we literally had an hour to shoot all that.
So it's like,
wow. The guy who the brother, I don't know if we have him on or I don't know his name.
Patrick Roca.
Man, he was just phenomenal.
Intense.
So intense. I don't know if that is just like who he is as a person, and like when you call cut, he's just like butterflies and rainbows. But wow.
He's a sweetheart.
I love that. I love hearing that.
He came in for ADR. And he was like, oh, my God. He felt so bad because he saw himself on the screen. I'm such a horrible person. He felt bad what he did in the movie.
And he was saying sorry to Ganel each time he had his... because
I had to play an attacker and like a rapey guy my first time, and I kept doing the same thing. After every scene, I'm like, I'm so sorry. And they're like, no, it's okay. And then they were just like, they're like, you can do more. You can grope me more. You can do that. Like, I'm comfortable. And I'm like, I'm not fucking comfortable.
Yeah.
But you have a story about Patrick. Do you want to say that?
A story about Patrick?
Yeah, how we cast him. Come on.
Remind me.
Okay, so
I'm thinking.
Come on, you're the boss. We already know you're the boss. You
so basically, Lauro is known in town, and then for that role, we're not gonna name the person, but
okay.
he gave the part to a actor friend, right? And then at some point we receive self-tape, and we sat down and watched the audition of Patrick, and I went, oh my God, it was so intense. It was so the character. I could not even finish to watch his audition.
She walked away.
I walked away. I'm like, this is...
I almost wanted to shut it off in the scene because I thought he was going to rape her. I was like, I'm going to turn this off. I know where this is going. Like, that's how intense and it was all because of him.
And I went, babe, you're in shit right now because you need to call your friend and say sorry. And, because you need to give the part to the best one. Especially when you do an indie film, it's like, it's not about our friend, it's about the best person for the job.
Steve and I talk about that and coordinating all the time. I'm so sorry to cut you off.
Rewrite it.
But we always say that, like, your friends get these these jobs and whatever. And if you truly respect your friend and you truly respect what he's doing, you may not get that phone call because deep down you should know you're not the best guy for the job. Mm-hmm. And he's doing what he's supposed to do, which is casting the best person for the job.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And, I know a lot of actors from all the years I've been in the business, and some are really good friends and they're really good actors. So in the past, I've just like, okay, I'm going to use that person. You're coming in, you're going to play this role for me if you would, please. And so I had been talking to this other guy and I'm to wait to work for you, Lash. And then next thing you know, we saw this audition and I had to call him and go, look, man, I'm sorry, but this guy blew anything and everything out of the water that I've ever seen. So I gotta go with this guy.
And then, so I tried to make it short, but my guy here is colorblind. So every redhead woman, you see their hair green. So he's like, Ugh. So my first thing was,
so you're like living in a Star Trek universe. It's like the green lady.
So I was like, no discrimination, babe. You have to see everybody for this role. Redhead, babe, it's not about you. It's about the best, Anyways, it's a running gag. running gag, bust his balls.
So in the breakdown of the Trish character, when I sent the breakdown out to casting, I said, I want a girl that's like Teeter on Yellowstone or Ruth on Ozark, or a mix of those two, right? That was
Teeter on Yellowstone. You got it.
Yeah.
And Ruth from Ozark,
Ruth
you know that character?
Yeah, Ruth on Ozark.
Awesome. Anyway, this girl comes and she's...
Hold on. So you audition a bunch of girls, and it's like, yeah, it's going to be this one. I'm like, no. You need to watch every self-tape, because I've been an actress before, and I want to make sure that everybody that is on tape gets seen. You watch it all. Okay. So the tape comes on, and she is a redhead. It's like, nah. I'm like, you watch that thing. And then...
No, she's a greenhead.
A little voice in the slate. Yeah. So he's like not convinced.
Hi, my name is Corey Woods.
And then when she started playing, we went, oh my God, that's her. So I'm like, he's open-minded, but we always have that little running gag in between and, between us. But yeah, she made the cut and she was effing good.
She was awesome. She was
a transformation though. She's like, hi, my name is Corey Woods. And then she's like, okay.
Action. And then
she was on.
When I was working on Iron Fist, I was working with Tom Pelfrey, and he played Ward Meacham, I believe, his best friend. And there was a scene when he was detoxing, and he's going and he's playing, and he's just an addict detoxing, sweats, fucking freaking out, and just like, and then they yell cut, and he literally just turns to me and starts the conversation we were just having, and then they yell, and then they go into action, and literally stops mid-sentence, goes into a scene, turns into an absolute fucking addict, fucking going through withdrawal, and then they yell cut and finishes, and I'm like, what? How the fuck do you do that?
Yeah.
And he's literally just like, it's a muscle. He's like, it's a muscle. He's like, and when you do it, he's like, it's on and off. And I'm like, yeah, but that's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. And they were all of them, every single actors on the movie were like top notch. Like they all have something wonderful about them. And that we go from Tim Rozon, from Nathaniel, Arcand, that is like, they're so intense, and they end up like having a bromance, like end up being best friend in real life now. So it was really a fun movie to do. We had our like pain, but at the end we had a great team, and everybody brought the A game, knowing that we were in financial trouble, and they were like, we're going to make this happen. So there was, the trailer for the actor with the special commodity gone. All this had to be gone, and everybody was like, we're here to play. We're going to make it happen.
We found a ranch called Jamestown, which is a 100-acre ranch, and it had the little old mining town, had a cabin in the woods, had roads out back, like logging roads for the cartel to go down, had a house that was sided, 2 different types of siding, so I could shoot this side of the house as one house, this side of the house is another house. So this was Tim Rozon's house, this was Graham Greene's house. You know what I mean?
And then that's awesome.
Series.
We hung our curtain in the middle, and
series. Make a series.
Okay.
And a quick shout out to Stevie Salas, who gave us our theme song, Forgive and Remember. And he was saying, you should get Graham Greene for this movie. And I go, I tried, but I can't get him. He goes, oh, he's my best friend. And he got us Graham Greene for a day.
I mean, that guy's legendary.
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 I mean, I remember when I saw this, I was like, it made me a little, so my mom's going through some stuff right now, but I used to watch I'm going to get upset. I used to watch Northern Exposure with my mom, like, every day, and I remember him from that. So
awesome. Yeah, but isn't that the power of what we do? The power of storytelling is like, it just brings you back to everything. It's amazing.
But Stevie came out with Graham. He came to the set, and he was our cultural producer, consultant, right? And then Graham brought his A game. The guy, as you saw in the movie, is like, the tears are flowing and everything's going well.
Does he have any other game? I mean, since the beginning, he's been awesome.
we were a little nothing movie, and I didn't know what he was gonna bring, and we had him for one day, so I needed some more shots. And Stevie says, "Let me talk to Graham." And Graham comes up and he goes, "You let me kill one of those cartel motherfuckers, and I'll give you another day for free."
That's awesome.
So we put a outfit on him and had him kill.
That's awesome.
Killing and stuff like that, and he says, "As long as you get me on a plane before 5 a.m, I'm all yours."
Wait, what outfit did you put him? Did you put him in the bear? He was in the bear outfit? No,
he had it's similar, but
it's a wolf shapeshifter. So he's a double wolf head on him.
Oh, nice.
Send you a picture.
Yeah, the costumes were awesome. The costumes were way cool.
Oh my God, Val Halverson, our costume designer, she worked on all those costumes for a year.
She was on Stargate, right?
Yeah, and I mean, we had trouble with the taxidermists, and this, we said we need to build heads, and they sent them as rugs, and then we had to retool them. And,
no,
they sent them as rugs.
So yeah, that's crazy.
But you should have seen her apartment. She was so gracious. She did all the fittings at her apartment because we couldn't afford a studio or an office even at that time.
Right.
And so some people were going there. She had skins hanging, all feathers everywhere, and different material. Her place just turned into a costume house, and she worked so hard putting those together.
No, it was not about money anymore. It was about because we have to make this happen, and she's very passionate about what she does. So
that's the thing. You got to find passionate people to on your passion projects.
Is Stevie Salas? Stevie Salas is one of the top 50 best guitarists in the world. And he's indigenous, and he's the one who produced the documentary, The Indian That Rocked the World, Rumble. So he's the one who did this, and he ended up being on the cover of the Rolling Stone. He's a super nice cat. I really love Stevie. Easygoing, generous. It's like, and if it wasn't for him, I don't know if it would have Graham. So
no, not at all.
He's a very nice person.
So that tune so stuck in your head. Dun, 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 dun.
So if you're listening, Protectors of the Land on Tubi right now.
Yes.
Got to check it out. Go check it out.
It's free. There's no reason you shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. No. Go watch it.
Yeah. Then if you watch it, go to IMDb, give us a rating, give us a review, whatever. Thumbs up on Tubi. Yeah. If you like it, give us a thumbs up.
We're partial to the reviews because we're always asking people for reviews.
Right? Review us.
We give people reviews if we can. So,
well, we want a sequel, and then to your idea, maybe turn it into a series.
TV, it's a very good idea. Thank you for that. I have one question. I want to see those two little guys.
Oh, these guys? That's us.
Yeah. This is us.
We had custom pops. Hold on. And then we made new ones for season 2 of the podcast.
Oh my God, this is so awesome. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, man. And then we always try to decorate the table with stuff that's appropriate for the guest and the show. Oh my, this is my little.
That's what you do.
Yeah, that's my favorite sake right there.
Sake right there.
Yeah, and that's my little.
Oh wow,
my little bogu.
Which sake? This sake?
Look at the sword. Yeah, that's sake.
Yeah, that's sake. That's what he drinks.
Oh yeah, this is what I brought for Steve because it's the only sake he drinks.
Yeah, I like this.
So I brought my bottle because I'll just drink sake because I'm a fucking degenerate and I love sake.
And then I got this behind. I wasn't going to show it to you here. This was for the intro, but this is my replica 16th century shinai, Yagyu shinai. That my student got me back for my birthday. Yeah.
Send us an address. I'll send you guys some umbrellas. I have some Shogun.
And we'll do the same. We'll send you we have pins for the show that we try to get to the guests. So we'll definitely get where to send that.
And Steve has some very nice provocative photos.
Yeah, that's only for the $20 Patreon level.
Do you remember the Costanza pose from Seinfeld?
Rich, we'll cut that one out.
No.
All right. This was great. I am so glad we could make it happen. We'll do an unofficial endorsement to LinkedIn. Thank you to LinkedIn.
Thanks so much for coming on.
But this was great. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having us. It was very fun. Really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
It was really
fun.
awesome.
You guys are hilarious.
So are you two. You guys are awesome. We definitely have to have them back next season for like something.
Maybe if we have another round table.
If you have something else that comes out.
Yeah. Hey, well, we're going into season 2 of Shogun, so we'll have lots to talk about there, and they're promising more action. I've started to read the scripts, and they're not lying. It's going to be big.
And also, which is crazy, is you guys are going beyond what was written in the novel.
Well, 10 years into the...
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because, I mean, I know we were just about to wrap up, but I will just say this, that...
We're nerds, and we're going to keep going.
I know. But I was... we're of approximate, like, age group. So, like, I remember as a kid... the original Shogun, it was just insanely cool. It's probably part of why I started martial arts, I would bet. And then I read the book multiple times. There must be such pressure when you get hit up to do this iconic story again.
You know what? I think there's going to be more pressure this season in my feelings. We didn't know what we were getting into necessarily, or how good it was going to turn out, or you know what I mean. But it's just surpassed the original by so far, and all the awards that now the bar is up here.
Right now, you have to redeliver.
Yeah.
And of the book, right? So
and now no book. Now we're going on history and authenticity. So the A game has to turn into the A+ game for sure.
Well, good luck. May the force be with you.
Yeah, totally looking forward to it. May the chi be with you.
Yeah, weird.
All right, man. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the internets.
All
right. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Cool.
Tubi. Protectors of the land.
Film Fights with Friends is produced by Stephen Kepfer, Paul Veracci, Press Record Studios, and Breakfall Studios. This episode was engineered by Matthew Kaplowitz. This show is powered by our supporters at Patreon and is a registered trademark of Film Fights with Friends, LLC. Original theme by Aru Luster.